Hey, welcome back. It is day 3. We're trying something different with this video. We're kind of recording it in more of a studio with me and McKinley, and then the family we did it with earlier, and we're going to like splice in some things. So details. What are we doing today? So today we're building an app that's going to be your choice of what you do. It's kind of like a tag game. So there's going to be like one person chasing and one person running away, and then blockers that are protecting the person they're running away. My theme that I'm choosing to do is Encanto themed. So it's called We Don't Always Catch Bruno. And so Bruno is going to be the person that's running away. He's kind of like the target, right? And then Maribel is going to be the chaser. So there's a target and a chaser. And then there's some blocker that there's going to be a lot of. And so this is Abuela. And so we're going to teach you how to download images from the internet today. So you can pick any theme you want. So kind of pause the video and just kind of think for a minute. You know, what do I want my theme to be? Who do I want my chaser to be? So that's my Maribel. Who do I want my target to be? That's the person that's running away. That's my Bruno. And then who do I want the blocker to be that there's going to be like a lot of? And so I chose Abuela for that. Before we dive in today, though, let's kind of look at what we did in the past and just kind of like reflect on it a little bit. So some of the things we learned about yesterday is we learned about a style of movement called Pac-Man movement, where you're always moving. It's just a matter of what direction. That's not quite how we're going to do today, but it's a good skill to know. We learned a skill about how enemies or villains can kind of like track the hero and point towards them and then go at wherever they're at. Again, that's a good skill. Not going to use it today. There's so many skills when we learn to code. And really that's one of the take-home messages is we're kind of using these same skills so differently that you would barely recognize that they're the same skills in these different apps. And I think that's something that's really exciting about coding. So let's go ahead and take a look at the solution that we're going to build today. Here is the solution that I made in advance. So it's a 2-player game. So one person is Bruno. So Bruno uses the up, down, left, and right keys. And then the other person is the chaser. Oh, she lost this time. So the chaser, Maribel in this case, she is using W, A, S, and D to move around. And then Bruno is the target. And so Maribel's trying to like get Bruno. So if she comes down here and she hits him, then she got Bruno. So she won. And then the way Bruno wins is he kind of hides behind Maribel to where if she tries to get him and she hits a blocker, then that's how she loses. So kind of understand the concept? So let's take a minute and think about your plan, and then we'll show you how to get images for your game. So I'm going to go into Scratch. I'm going to create a new game. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the cat because I don't need the cat. But I do need images to bring in. And normally when we bring in images, we click on the circle. But now we're going to do something new. We're going to upload a sprite. So upload means upload from your computer to Scratch. But first we've got to get the images. So open up a new tab and just do a search for the thing you want to search for. So I'm going to search for Encanto Bruno. Now, whenever you do a search, you're obviously searching the internet. You can find all kinds of stuff, so be careful with your searches. Specifically, what we're looking for is we're looking for images. So I want images of Bruno. Now, if you look at these images, you'll notice that some of them are rectangles, and rectangles don't move nearly as well. So you can see how in my game, my Bruno here, he's got like an outline that follows his body. The reason that works is because he's got a transparent background. So to do that, go to Tools, change the color to transparent. And what this will try to do for you is it'll try to find you an image type called a PNG image. And a PNG image will have a transparent background. Now you don't really know if it's a PNG with transparent background until you click on it. So you can say images, you can click on tools, and you can set the color to transparent, and that'll help your chances, but it won't guarantee it. So here's an image of Bruno. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to say save image as. And so I'm just going to call it, I'm going to rename the file to just be a nice simple Bruno. It looks like I've already got a file named Bruno, but that's all right. I'll replace it. And then once you've got a file, you can come into Scratch and then you can hit Upload Sprite. And then you can find where on your computer you downloaded it to, which that can be the hardest part, and then you'll bring it in. Then finally, you're going to resize it. And then here I've got my target. Now you can leave the file name as Bruno. I think I'm going to change mine to say target. because yours will be different than Bruno, right? And notice how I made him kind of small. And then you've got to do the same thing with each of your other characters. So I'm going to look for Maribel. Every time you change your shirt, you do have to put back on this color transparent. I don't know why Google does that. And you can see that hopefully this is a transparent background because it's got this gray and white checkerboard background. And so I'm going to say save image as, and sure enough, it's Maribel. So I've got that one saved. And you can see I like to make them simple file names. I'm going kind of fast here because your images are going to be different from mine, but you'll bring them in one at a time. And so she's going to be my chaser. And I'm going to make her size kind of small too. So she's a little bigger than Bruno at the moment. I guess Bruno I could bump up a little bit, but you can just change their size until they look like what you want. Sometimes your searches go well, like mine have been going well, and you find good images with transparent backgrounds. I'm going to do one that's going to go badly here. So I'm going to search for Abuela, which I'm not sure what her proper name is, but I think Abuela is good enough. And I'm going to look for transparent, and it seems like this one's going to be good. And it's got this nice background, and so I say save image as. And you can see that this is, I'll call it Abuela. And you can see, if you can see down here, it actually saved it as a WEBP file. Can't use them, right? I can prove to you that you can't use them. When you try to upload it in here, you can see it won't even let you select it. So when you're searching the internet for the right image, you will have to kind of like play for a while until you find one that actually is a PNG you can use. So I'm going to change this one to Abuela. This one was a PNG, right? And so I can go ahead and upload Abuela here as well. And she's my, I'm going to call her my blocker. And she's going to need to be really teeny because there's going to be like a whole bunch of her. And then she's going to kind of be flying. So just for fun, I'm going to, you don't have to do this at all. I'm going to kind of give her a little tilt just because she's going to be kind of like flying over for fun here. The other thing you could choose to do if you wanted is you could make a background. And so I could probably have like a house of some sort. So I'll go see if I can find a house image. I don't think I like that one as well. I kind of like this one. And again, you've just got to be careful about the file types. When you say house, looks like this one came in as a JPEG. Since this one is a background, it does not need that transparent background. So you can just actually get a JPEG will work just fine. So I'm going to upload this house as my background. I could leave it just like that, but if you wanted, you can come in here to the backdrop area and you could make it a little bigger. I like to always convert my things to vector before I mess with them. And you can kind of like take up more of the space here. Cool, I think that looks pretty good. I could make it a little bigger, but I think I'll leave it right there. All right, and then you should name your file. We don't always catch Bruno. So I'm encouraging you to use your own images. And so I want you to have a chaser, a target, a blocker, and then optionally a background. And if you wanted to, you could always, modify these things to your heart's content, and you can do lots of different things to it. Mine's kind of like a little busy, but I'm just going to let that go today. By the way, if you wanted to use these same images as me in the slides, there's actually like instructions on how you do a search for images, tools, transparent, but you can also use these links over here if you wanted to use the same images that I used. So I would rather you just pick your own theme, but if you want to use my images, you are allowed to do that. All right, so go ahead and pause the video, take as long as you need to get your different images worked out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to McKinley, who's going to take over in writing the code. So I'm going to go ahead and select Bruno, who is my target, and she's going to start off by writing code for Bruno. All right, Sis, all yours.
Hi, my name is Neela Fisher.
Yeah.
Neela Kayla.
Neela's got a plan here. It involves unicorns and red pandas and some Harry Pottery things.
And a puppy.
And a puppy. Bowen, what are you oh, we got a full-on. You can see we're going to Harry Potter World soon, right? So he's got a full-on Harry Potter, Hedwig, and Lord Voldemort. Oh, exciting. So Lord Voldemort's probably chasing after Harry Potter?
Yes.
And Keegan's got a Descendants theme going. So he's got Evie and Audrey and... Oh, I forgot to let you say your name. Say your name.
Bowen and 8.
And say your name.
Keegan 10.
Cool. All right, I will turn it over. Oh, you can introduce yourself as well.
I'm McKinley. I'm 12 now.
Hi, I'm McKinley. So the first thing we're going to do is to write our code. So what we need to do is we're going to start with Bruno. So first we are going to start moving him. So we can go over to events, and we need to drag over when green flag to collect. After that, we need to have a set position that Bruno goes to each time. So that way he doesn't start on top of Maribel. So you can kind of drag him. I prefer kind of the right side of the screen over here in the middle. And so I'm going to go to motion, and I'm going to go to this X and Y. Hopefully it has already inputted the Bruno's current position right now. It has those coordinates for you, so all you have to do is drag over the block. The next thing we need to do is go to control and get a forever loop. Then we're going to grab an if statement. So we're going to be using the up, down, left, right keys for Bruno. So let's jump over to sensing. And what we're going to do is we're going to be doing key space pressed. We're going to drag that over. And if you know you have the right space, it'll be outlined in white, like that area right there. So drop it in. And we want to change space to up. So space up arrow. So what happens if you press the up arrow? Right now, nothing. But we're going to change that. So we're going to go to motion. And we're going to come down here. And we're going to change Y by 10. So that will move us up. So let's test that. So Bruno should move up whenever you do the up arrow, but he's not moving any other directions right now. So let's get those other directions in place. If you press the green flag again, Bruno will go back to his starting position. So what we need is another if statement. So jumping down to control, if statement, we're going to drag it under our up arrow if statement, and then we're going to jump back over to sensing. And sensing, we're going to do the down arrow this time. So key space press, again, if you have the right space, it's going to be highlighted white. We're going to change space to down arrow. So if the down arrow is pressed, right now nothing happens, but if you jump back up to motion, and we're going to change Y by -10 this time, Bruno should move down. So let's test that. Bruno can move up and down. So not left or right, but he can move up and down. So the next thing we need to do is left and right. So let's go ahead and start with the left key. So we need another if statement. So control if statement underneath our down arrow if statement. We are going to then jump back to sensing, and if key space pressed, this time we are going to do the left arrow key. So change space to left arrow. And motion, we're going to jump up to motion, and this time we are changing X by. You need to be aware of the notice. You're not changing Y, you're changing X. And you're changing X by -10. So go ahead and test your left arrow key. Your Bruno should be able to move up, down, left, but not right yet. So let's go ahead and get that right arrow key. Control if statement. We're going to be dragging that underneath our left arrow if statement. We're going to jump over to sensing. Key space pressed. We're going to be doing the right arrow this time, so you need to change space to right arrow. Then we need to jump back up to motion, and we need to change Y by 10. So now you should have up, down, left, and right for Bruno. So if you test Bruno, he should be able to move up, down, left, and right. So this is great, but there is something we want to change. I just realized my right arrow key is not working. I just realized that I made a bit of a goof. I accidentally dragged the wrong block over. So I'm changing Y by 10 if I press the X arrow, but I need to change X by 10. So I need to drag this over, so we're changing X by 10. So right arrow, change X by 10. So hopefully it'll work now. So let's see, up, down, left, and right. So it works fine. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be changing the 10. We're going to make a variable, so that way we can input the variable, and if we want to change multiple things at once, we just have to change it in the one spot and it'll change everything. So how we do that is we're going to jump over to variables. It's the second to the bottom one in orange, and what we're going to do is make a variable. Our variable is going to be called Bruno speed. I think I spelled Bruno right. Maybe not. Bruno speed. There we go. Bruno speed. And we can leave it for all sprites, and it doesn't need to be a cloud variable. So, okay, we have Bruno speed now. We don't really need Bruno's speed on the screen, so what we can do is uncheck this little box over here and it doesn't show up on the screen anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Bruno's speed and we're going to drag it into where the 10s are at. The thing we had to do for the negative 10s is we're going to have to jump over to operators. So let's jump over to operators for doing our down arrow. So we can jump over to operators, and what we need to do to make a negative Bruno speed is we need a multiplication. Couldn't think of the name there. And what we're going to do is type in the first box is -1, and so then we're going to jump back down to variables, and Bruno speed's going to go in the second one. So again, we're going to jump up to what we did is we went up to variables, we got the multiplication one, and we put it in the space where the -10 is at for changing Y by. And then the first one we put -1, and the second one it's Bruno speed. So now that will make it like negative Bruno speed, so we can go down once we set Bruno speed. We're going to be doing the same thing for the left arrow, so up to operators, multiplication, -1 in the first one, and Bruno speed in the second one. And then one more left. What we're going to do is just drag Bruno speed into that change X10. So we have all these variables, but we've had Bruno speed, but we don't actually have it set. So the computer doesn't know what Bruno speed is. Like, what is it set at? So what we're going to do is up here in the top, before the forever loop, we're going to set Bruno speed to 6. Bruno will move a little bit slower than before since it's 6, not 10. But he's still moving around, and now that we have these variables, if we want to change the speed sum, we just have to change it in this one spot, and it'll change all of these for us. So let's go ahead and test, make sure Bruno is all okay, so we can still move in all of our directions, so that is good. What we're going to do now is we're going to make Maribel move. So we kind of need almost the exact same code for Maribel as Bruno. So what we can do is we can take this code and bring it into Maribel. So how you do that is you go when green flag clicked, you click on it, and what you can do is you can drag it over the Maribel sprite. It'll kind of shake a little, and then you drop it in there, and now that code, if we go over to Maribel, is right there waiting for us. So that's an easy way to duplicate between sprites. So there's a few things we need to change. If you want to guess some, I think probably the first one is we're still using Bruno's speed, and Mirabelle is going to be going at a different speed than Bruno, so we need to make another variable. So we're going to make a variable, and this one, it's going to be Mirabelle speed. I don't think I spelled Mirabelle right. I'm a terrible speller, in case you did not know. So Mirabelle speed. And this can be for all sprites, and it doesn't need to be a cloud variable, so it's okay. And we do not need Mirabelle speed on the screen, so what we can do is just unclick this arrow over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out all these Bruno speeds starting at the top. So we're going to change the set Bruno speed, we're going to change it set Mirabelle speed, and Mirabelle speed is going to be at 8. So that's our set. We're going to change Y by delete the Bruno, add Mirabelle speed. We're going to change Y by -1 times not Bruno speed, Mirabelle speed. And then so forth for the left arrow and the right arrow. So in your code, you shouldn't have any Bruno speed in there. It should be all Mirabelle speed for Mirabelle. The final thing we need to change is Mirabelle's position, because we don't want her starting right on top of Bruno since she's trying to catch Bruno. There's kind of two different ways to do this. You could just go and manually change it to let's see, what are Mirabelle's coordinates right now? -188 and -24. Another way you could do that is take this block and then delete it, and then go up to motion and then add this one, because it will have Mirabelle's coordinates already inputted for you. So that should move Mirabelle. So I just realized something. We didn't actually change the arrows, so now they're both using arrow keys, and that's not going to work well if Mirabelle's trying to catch Bruno, unless you corner him against the wall. So what we need to do is we need to change up, down, left, right to WASD. So the up arrow is going to be changed to a W. The down arrow is going to be changed to a S. The left arrow key is going to be changed to an A, and the right arrow key is going to be changed to a D. So now we can test that. We should have arrow keys for Bruno and then WASD for Mirabelle. So that should work now for both characters. The next thing we need to do is have something happen when Mirabelle catches Bruno. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down a little, and we're going to add another if statement. So we're going to go to control, and we're going to grab another if statement, and we're going to put it below our if key pressed, if key D is pressed. So what we're going to be checking for this time is we're going to go to something if we're touching mouse pointer. This isn't exactly what we want, but this is the block we want. We just have to change the drop down. So instead of touching mouse pointer, if we are touching target, which is Bruno, then what happens? So what happens is we're going to go looks, and we're going to say hello for 2 seconds. We're going to say hello to Bruno since we caught him. Well, not actually. We're going to say that we won. We caught Bruno. Woohoo! So kind of your win message. I got Bruno, or whatever you want to say. Oops, misspelled Bruno again. I got Bruno, and like usually 3 or 4 seconds is long enough to display your message and for the people playing the game to read it. So touching, and then what you need is a stop all. So that's in control. You have to be careful about stop all, because if you put it in the wrong place, it stops your game as soon as it starts. So where we're putting this stop all is in our if touching Bruno if statement, and we're putting it right below our win message. So stop all, and it's going right underneath this purple block. So stop all. So once we caught Bruno, it'll display our message and it'll stop all. Now we need something to happen if we touch Abuela, But first, let's make sure our Bruno one works. So, play your game, use Maribel, touch Bruno, I got Bruno, and so it works. And so that works, so now we can go ahead and go on to the next thing. So that is, if we're touching not Maribel, Abuela, what happens? So we're going to get another if statement, woohoo! If we are touching, in this case she's named Blocker, if touching Abuela, then we will display our lose message because we didn't get Bruno. So we're going to go back up to looks, and we're going to say hello for 2 seconds to Abuela. Hi, Abuela. Just kidding. We're going to say better luck next time, or whatever you kind of want to say. So better oops, misspelled better luck next time. Okay, so better luck next time. And I'm going to change this one to 3 seconds as well. And so better luck next time. And so we need another stop all after this because this will stop our game. Again, we're going to jump to control. You have to be careful where you put the stop all because you don't want your game to start as soon as you start it. Stopped as soon as you start it, getting my words mixed up. So we're going to put it under this purple block that has our kind of losing better luck next time message. So it'll be underneath this one. So now let's see. Abuela's down here. We're going to test that. So try that. Get Maribel to touch Abuela. Better luck next time. And then it stops all. So works perfectly. So I think there's one thing missing from this game. I just can't figure out what it is. Oh, I know what it is. It's Abuela, since we can just kind of walk to Bruno right now, as long as Bruno's not running away. So we need Abuela to guard Bruno, basically. So we're going to go over to Abuela's code, and Abuela is going to have a lot of clones of herself to protect Bruno, basically. The first thing we want to do is we're going to hide the original Abuela because she won't actually move. So we can go to events. So when green flag clicked, hide. So when the green flag's clicked for Abuela, she will hide. So that's up here in this corner. Now we need to know what will happen when Abuela starts as a clone. So what we need is for control. We are going to jump down to control, and it's this block down here in the bottom. So it's when I start as clone. The first thing you want to do is when you start as a clone is you're still going to be hidden, so you want to jump up to looks and show yourself. So when I start as clone, show. The next thing you'll want to do is to figure out your position. So you will go to motion, and you will go to go X, go Y. Right now, this is where the original Abuela's at, but what we need is we need to go to X negative 160, I believe is the number. So that'll be way over here, I believe. And then we need to have a random Y, so she can start way up at the top of the screen or way down low or in the middle. How you do that is you can go into operators, and they have a random thing already there for you. So let's jump over to operators. Pick random 1 to 10. We don't quite want 1 to 10. I believe we want from 145 to negative 145. I believe that gives us most of the screen for Abuela to start in. And then what we need is a forever loop for Abuela to start moving. So we're going to jump over to control, and we're going to drag over a forever loop underneath our go to X, go to Y forever loop. And guess what, guys? We need another if statement. So these are really come in handy for this, just moving. So what we're going to do is we're going to be moving Abuela until she reaches a certain point, and then she's going to be gone. So that way we don't have Abuelas piling up on the left side of the screen. So what we need to put in our if statement is an operator. So that's the green one. So operators. And so if we need the position, so that would be negative 160. So if negative 160, wait, I believe I'm doing this wrong. I think I need a less than. Which one do I need?
Less than.
Okay. So what we need in the forever if then statement, I got a little mixed up. We need a less than. So what we're going to put is if our position is less than our negative 160 position, then we need to be gone. So how we do that is in our left than statement on the right side, we need to put negative 160. And then on the left, we need to put our X position. So how we do that is we go up to motion, and we scroll down here, and there is this rounded block. It says X position. If our X position is less than negative 160, then what happens? So what happens is you need to go to Control, scroll down, and you're going to delete this clone. So this code is almost complete, but we're missing one key factor, the actual movement of Abuela. Because right now she doesn't really do anything. She just sits until she gets to negative 160, which she's not going to get there unless we make her move. So how we do that is we do motion. So we're going to jump up to motion, and we're going to move 10 steps. Well, I think that might be a little fast for Abuela. So we're going to actually change the 10 to 3 steps. So that way she's going at a bit of a slower pace so Maribel can actually dodge her. This would work, except we don't have anyone making the clones of Abuela. For that, that's the stage job. So usually the stage doesn't get any code, but usually it's handy for whenever you're making clones of something. So the stage is over here. You can click on it, and now you have a coding space. What you do is you go to events, when green flag clicked. What you're going to do forever and ever, we're going to go down to Control, forever loop. What you're going to do is make clones of Abuela. So when green flag clicked, forever, let's see, create clones of, what are you going to create clones of? So we have target, chaser, and blocker, and in this instant, Abuela is our blocker, so create clones of blocker. So let's go ahead and test this code to see if it works. Ooh, I think I made some mistakes, because it looks like Abuela's coming from the wrong side, and there is a sea of Abuelas. So I know how to fix one of those things. So what we need is a wait and before we create our blocker. So we're gonna wait 0.7 seconds in between Abuelas. Now that will fix our sea of Abuelas. But now let's see if I can figure out why the Abuelas are coming from the wrong side. So I'm going to jump back over to Abuela. So I think I found the problem. I'm going to negative 160x when I should actually be going to 160x. So I think that will fix our problem. So, not quite. So, let's see. So, I made a few errors, but just in the numbers. So, we need to change a few numbers to make sure that this works. So, the first thing we need to do is we're going to change when you start as clone, where you go to. We have this handy dandy X grid over here that we're going to switch to, so you can kind of see for yourself how it works. So, this is our X grid, and if we go back to Abuela, we see that she's going at 160x, so she's kind of starting right here when we kind of want her to start back here. So what we can do is we're going to change this 160 in the x to 240, so that should have her start on the side. We're also going to make her range of up and down a little more larger, so we're going to change the 140 to 160 and the negative 145 to negative 160. So negative 160. So now she has a bit more of a range. We're not going to be moving 3 steps because we don't actually know like exactly the position Abuela is facing. So if she's facing up, she's going to start walking up. So instead of moving this 3 steps, which we're going to get rid of, we're going to go up to motion, and we're going to be changing her X position by -3. -3. So I do believe that this will work now. So let's see. Abuela seem to be coming from the right side. They keep on going. I think that's good. Better luck next time. Oops. Maribel got hit by Abuela. And Another thing is they're going away at negative 160 when they actually could be going away at negative like 240. So we're going to change this negative 160 to negative 230. Just make sure that they disappear from the screen. So I'm going to switch back the stage to our house, and then we can test our game. So if you need to, pause the video to observe all my changes, all my little mishaps that I fixed, and I'm going to be testing this game. So, Bruno moves, Maribel moves, the Boilos are going. Let's see, can I get to Bruno? Froze him in a position where I don't know quite if I can. Oh, Boila got me. I was so close. So maybe my father can help me with this game since it's a 2-person game. So I'm Maribel, you're Bruno.
Bring it on.
Oops, I got trapped up there in the corner. Okay, I'm going to catch you.
Good luck.
Ah.
Oh, you
Yes.
got me. Good job, sis. All right, mind if I take over? Our campers did. Neela, let's play yours. So she has a unicorn. So I'm the unicorn here, and I'm being attacked by dangerous puppies. So I've got to avoid the puppies, and I'm trying to get the red panda. All right, I'm going to go for it. Ah, the unicorn loses. Did you have fun today, Neela?
Yeah.
Great job.
My plan was trying to just stay on a puppy.
Stay on the puppy. All right, Bowen, you've got Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort, because, yeah, that's who you are.
Yes.
So I'm going to be Lord Voldemort. He chose to make his a little backwards of mine, so go ahead and hit the play button. So I'm Lord Voldemort here, and I'm trying to get Harry Potter, and I'm trying to avoid Hedwig. I'm in big trouble here. Ah, yes! Darn it. All right, I will get one of you. All right, Keegan Meister, the Descendants fan. He's got Evie. Go ahead and hit play. Evie, Audrey, and June, is that right? So I've got to try to actually get somebody here. Oh yeah, Audrey is the winner. That was me. Would have been more fun if I'd let you win.
Let's do it again.
All right, let's play again. All right, and then I try to get you, and then, June is the loser. Cool, very nice, buddy. Did you guys have fun coding today?
Yes.
Did you like it, Bo?
Yes.
All right. Cool. So I like to wrap things up. I like to kind of glance at the code and reflect on a couple of the things we learned. So really Bruno's code we did first. So she took you through that. The things that were new here is that we made a variable so that if we wanted to change it, we only had to change it in one spot. So right there, I lost as Bruno, so maybe I'll bump Bruno's speed up. Maybe Bruno will go at 12 next time. And you can see that it makes him quite a bit faster if he goes at 12. And you can change your game with tweaks like this to make it more fun. Maribel's code was very similar in a lot of ways. She's got a speed here. And then Maribel checked if she hit Bruno and won, or if she got hit by Abuela and lost, right? So that's kind of her goal. And then one of the big new things was, how do you do clones? I do this trick a lot where the original one, I just hide it, but then the clones, I show them, start them maybe at some random position, and then they do their thing here. And usually the stage is the one that makes the clones. And so those are kind of some of the fundamentals that we learned about today. And the take-home messages are that clones and knowing how to use them can make your games a lot more powerful. Images from the internet can make your games more custom to you. And random numbers and things like show and hide are just good skills that you can put in your bag of tricks. So that's kind of our video. We do have, I want to show our campers and kind of what they made, which we filmed yesterday. So I'll show you that, and then we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much.
I messed up somewhere and I don't know where I messed up at.